Christo Madishie, Onyakopa Sumbi and Kamanenso. Now, what you chill when you share Bible at the Siasi, near Seer He, or how a Hodua, a bar, young Papa Abraham, a so, and in maybe or or how no. We are talking about demonstrating faith in the midst of crisis. Nearby and say, you better Abraham Abraham still. Near specific incidents in your potty be a sissy with Abraham Abraham. And now, as I saw, no more Abraham etufar home, and in Abraham, I didn't couldn't nearby. Eti, and then the Aben say, you better Abraham Abraham bio, and this time you focus, and your potty be challenges or how I would be a sissy with Abraham sitting specific challenges in Abraham's life. Me I share the exact thing Abraham did. I did potting Abraham was how na ejina so the etu ye hofo. Enti ene ye be no Yakobon ya aduma next week so ye beto aso. Enti bucha for mama ye mompae. Ene nyam hene ye da wasibio akwanya sonko de ma ye se en che wasem. Se wonni mu a ye ntimi nya hwe. Woni en church for hon kronkron. Eti ne esra ne se wa be kyerkyere wa bi enti ase ni wa ma enti ase sonko wa semu na wa sem na ye tie na ye kan na nso ye gi wa sema aye kanea e wo ye nkwan so ye da wa se so tie na obedum ye ewrade ni agye nkwa Yesu Kristo din mu amen. It was for last week near her Abraham as an example. Et in last week, now what you near hanging and say, near hanging and say, Abraham, you be a when you coupon a yin or brea, none nipper will be singing a nim, Yame Bako. The Nanipenim said, Yamua body munti, Nani Pasuma bosom, Abraham and Cassat, the bushing fee, or may have some for. Na near ya on your coupon, whom Abraham or ye Abraham, you city. Edi gidie tu anamondi Nyankopon achi eno na ne ye na ne ye bobo enyo me bia Abraham eyeye eni senia ohawa hodo ba na akwan mu a otimi di ne gidie edi sunkunim enen so ye toa so na enen ye behwe ne se na medical kanu ye behwe nyoma specific about 5 specific incidents enyoma be ye num bia si Abraham abrabo mu na ye di aye addition. Now we shall say a kind training here, GDA, especially Hebrews chapter 11. Your hair, ye janum penny for a D kind, any a smartphone, any a D phone, your hair, no more that GDA sunquedia, a pembe brainiana, a and fe. Now there is a temptation to think, say, that they were superhuman, and I say, Omoye and Crophobia, no man who are deno a bro, nipa diaso. And I am Nyankopon said that momu gidie sonko some ofendi jumebi na omoni Nyankopon enanti na oma brabo mu de hu clearly some so na sinto wo mo ho eti omo ye nipa te say ya na sinto bebre ewo oma brabo mu na omo so ehu ohawa hudo bebre se na yenso ya sitine mu ye ndada sitine mu ye kase ye ko hawa hudo mu no almost so sad pepe. It's a phobia to say Gideon, you heard the Busiamu, near phobia to say David, near heard the Busiamu. You see, say challenges are in your face, no. Almost the same challenges, and no more facey. Or how I ever say, Abaya so an answer, or how ye femono. Almost so how I before, almost so fast, how I be more. It's natural, say, only a nipa to say, now so, Omona Momu Gidio so. Edin kunim wo masitnemu na Abraham hawa eba no so no ya na owokwan hodo a ofaso didi hawo no so Abraham abrabo ene ye hwe na Abraham. For example, yenko Genesis chapter 12 Moses huma dika na say Genesis chapter 12 or how be by Abraham so yen hwe na mo a Abraham etuye. Genesis chapter 12 verse 10. Genesis chapter 12 verse 10. Now there was a famine in the land. So Abraham went down to Egypt to sojourn there. for the famine was severe in the land. When he was about to enter Egypt, he said to Sarai, his wife, I know that you are a woman beautiful in appearance, and when the Egyptians see you, they will say, this is his wife. Emphasis no over verse 10. Or how be by or how I buy a come famine. Na a come by assassin so na Abraham sian kokotna Mizraim. Koyo ho. It's your how I buy the famine that came. How did Abraham respond? He responded by relocating, and I said, baby, I come by, and Abraham took free hokotna baby for cry. That was Abraham's response. And several other challenges about Abraham Abrabumwa or the Ofakwa who do be so Edidisa Hanoso. Etene Ebesha Beye Enumbi. Yanko Genesis chapter 13, verse 1 following. In fact, as I think you're kind the whole chapter 13, but Ebia brain mean kind. Genesis chapter 13, verse 1. So Abraham went up from Egypt, he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with him into the Negev, that is the south. Now Abraham was very rich in livestock, in silver and in gold, and he sojourned on from the Negev as far as Bethel to the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Bethel and Ai, to the place where he had made an altar at the first. And there Abraham called upon the name of the Lord. And Lot, who went with Abraham, also had flock and herd and tents, so that the land could not support both of them dwelling together, for their possessions were so great that they could not dwell together. And there was strife between the herdsmen of Abraham's flock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock. At that time, the Canaanites and the Perizzites were dwelling in the field. Then Abraham said to Lot, let there be no strife between you and me, and between your herdsmen and my herdsmen, for we are kinsmen. Is not the whole land before you? Separate yourself from me. If you take the left hand, I will go to the right, and if you take the right hand, I will go to the left. And Lot lifted up his eyes and saw that the Jordan Valley was well watered everywhere, like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt, in the direction of Zoar. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot chose for himself all the Jordan Valley, and Lot journeyed east. Thus they separated from each other. Abraham settled in the land of Canaan, while Lot settled among the cities of the valley and moved his tent as far as Sodom. Now the men of Sodom were wicked, great sinners against the Lord. Hallelujah. That's Genesis chapter 13, 1 to 13. Genesis 13, 1 to 13. Now, Yehuze Abraham is facing a challenge in his life. Abraham akoto, or how be about Abraham's, or how about saying, and he said, Onyankopon esha se shira Abraham. Na Abraham ni nwan ene da nantwie ebedoso bebre. Now kan Genesis chapter 12 abra nyame frɛ Abraham ɔkɔ no. Ɔfa no wɔfa se Lot di n'akyi. Na Bible say Lot nso benya nwan ni mrechie ni anantwie bebre. Eti ɔhaw ɛba ne say Lot menka se ni employees ɔmo hwɛ ne mmoaso no. Omuni Abraham so ne dwumayɛfoɔ no entɔkwa aba ɔmo ntɛm. Efisɛ na asase no ɔmo nwan na dɔɔso ama kyerɛ sɛ ɛsrɛ ne nsuo no abɛyɛ ntɔkwa wɔ ɔmo ntɛm. Eti Lot ɛne Abraham ntɛm ɛyɛ ayɛ basabasa because ɔmo nwan ne hwɛfoɔ no ɔmo ntɛm ayɛ basabasa. Eti then Abraham yɛyɛ Bible say Abraham to anamon kɔ Lot hɔ ka kyerɛ sɛ yɛyɛ busuafoɔ ɛma wei ma basabasa ma yɛ ntɛm. Asase na da hɔ no ofa benkum a mefa nifa ofa nifa a mefa benkum. Eti Bible say Lot pagya ne ni hwɛ sɛni asase ne da hɔ Jordan fɛfɛɛfɛ a nsuo ɛtene wɔ so a nnɔbaeɛ ne nyinaa kama kama ɔse hɔ a na mepɛ. Eti ɔfa hɔ na Bible say Abraham so ɛfa the other side. Yɛwia yɛbɛtoa so. Na the first challenge about Abraham abrabɔ mu, which I want us to look at, is family strife, and I say family feud. And tokwa ewe busium, and I say empo yejumemu, a family strife or family feud. And so, with a challenge like this, what did Abraham do about this? Christo Madisha, hey, this, and idea one was say in our families, in our immediate circles, even on our campuses and our families. In Pembebre, there are petty strifes and feud and misunderstanding away and them. Mentem who sit to me by them, when you be to me by them, and young Kwan be at their families go away. The family is on fire. And Tiasia Enya Juma Obiba Wari Adano confusion. We see on Mawari on May and Sembibri and Kankani Yase. And so these challenges live with us, and we are experiencing them day in, day out. Abraham was no different. On the warfare system, when you and Jesse, Abraham fast. So this is a very important thing as believers a bit mission from Abraham. There is a connection in Matthew chapter 18, but me say, Abraham Diano, that's Genesis chapter 13. Then Abraham, near kind say, Bible say, Oko Ninchain, Oko Lot in chain, and the Lot Equidin Como. It was not Lot and the by Abraham in chain. Boshan and Lot Nukra. Lot is or Yabofrache Abraham. Now, so no ye penny now, Yankopa Shan Bona. In Shrano one sunu mum, etu anamo ko lot was a lot. And says when you buy and tell. As I seen the dahono, neobefano, Fabian Kuma Mefenifa. So we see number one, Abraham making the move. And then my friend said, confrontation, in the sense say, you are making the move to reconcile with the person who dictate to anamo ko nipano. Number two, mekasi meekness. Now, you can see meekness and also joy, and he said, Obia, we are no bonacra, no con no say, obey your boniat etiaka. Abraham demonstrated meekness in the sense that even though Lot obviously was in the wrong, he was willing to suffer. Eti Abraham at that or Joe Eddie, a woman say, Lot na na oye the enge. And so Abraham saying, hey, Mammy huna manina. Eti number one, what can we learn from Abraham's life? And he said the first thing was to make a move to the other party, and I said the erring party near all your bonin, and I said near all fum pono. Abraham ne di kind to an amon corn in chain. Near Tossum you didn't say, you who or draw Abraham a brabomu. Look, and ye assassin tina menun tembe say, it would a fadiope, now some ye emra. Number three, we see a willingness to give up some rights. Abraham assassin. In fact, in Jewish tradition, it's always the elderly first. Abraham had every right to make the first choice. But what are we seeing here? We are seeing Abraham was say, Lot, indicate emfa. And let him choose. Because Abraham said, when you come to bo, sasas not bemano, and then yasa sekitwa we no beprehu. Now, mummy, you see ye, Abraham trying to say, Lot, etin who free Abraham. Let's see what happened in Genesis chapter 13. You came from verse 14, Genesis chapter 13, verse 14. I mean, 13 Now the men of Sodom were wicked. 12. Abram settled in the land of Canaan, while Lot settled among the cities of the valley and moved his tent as far as Sodom. 14. The Lord said to Abram, after Lot had separated from him, lift up your eyes and look from the place where you are, northwards and southwards and eastwards and westwards. For all the land that you see, I give to you and to your offspring forever. Abram Lot, Eddie. Enibre anase patapaji asasina Abraham anka ho hwe no Lot nyate ne ho pe na Bible say Nyankopon be ka che Abraham say Abraham hwe pejaweni etifi anafo epuye atoye asasini nyina me dia ma o asechire ne say asase a Lot epre ho kofa yi nyina Nyankopon agika Abraham dia ho because Bible say oko east Nyankopon say eastwards me de ma o. So we see Abraham demonstrating meekness and humility and a willingness to settle dispute between him and his own kindred. On one in the bush for when you see one time, you say Abraham ayekra so obejemu amaka busafo in our lives yenda da sitnemu ye busu fie manso ntimi beda asase homa sebio 10 acres bi ni 5 acres bi nti ye bo bi dua kum no kwa because of 1 acre, because of cocoa 20 acres, because of sikabia ya nanabi sikabia da baby anase ye papa bi social security nti. Sometimes it may be fueled by envy and greed. And then Luke chapter 12 verse 15, yes, to emphasize, man's life does not consist in abundance of his wealth. In any case, your life is worth more than any quantity of land or money or any amount of money. It is sometimes a GD4 must learn the principle of Jamaica. We are seeing this practically in the life of Abraham. In our families, obi nti asese ya ma ne japade ni bi obi nti asese ejane ma oni oba foforo ewo ye enso enyemu chefa na koye ni abro ni ensem bebre na sebio nipa ewu ewo nsem bi se ho. What did Abraham do? Osin tokwakora me bi nsi fa na ko na emu ofa koye no de nyame de man no na eso kra chen asase a nka obepre ho se oje. This is a lesson that we can learn from our father Abraham. So how did Abraham handle the challenge of family feud or family strife? And he said, it is not worth the broken relationship. Sometimes as believers, as I say, Yusia, Enwoho, Enka, Jaiman Enka, Eyo Christo Sumpa, I say G4. Ebusa for ye koso akɔhwɛ Genesis chapter 16, yɛbɛkan from verse 1 to 6. Genesis 16. 1 to 6, we'll see another challenge that Abraham faced. And let's see how Abraham handled that challenge as well. Genesis 16, 1 to 6. Now Sarai, Abraham's wife, had borne him no children. She had a female Egyptian servant whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said to Abraham, behold now, the Lord has prevented me from bearing children. Go in to my servant. It may be that I shall obtain children by her. And Abram listened to the voice of Sarah. So, after Abram had lived 10 years in the land of Canaan, Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, the Egyptian, her servant, and gave her to Abram, her husband, as a wife. And he went in to Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, she looked with contempt on her mistress. And Sarah said to Abram, may the wrong done to me be on you. I gave you my servant to your embrace. And when she saw that she had conceived, she looked on me with contempt. May the Lord judge between you and me. But Abram said to Sarai, behold, your servant is in your power. Do to her as you please. Then Sarai dealt harshly with her, and she fled from her. Amen. Another challenge that our father Abraham faced was marital conflict or marital challenge. Abraham awarimu yehu se ohaw bi eyiniti e wona awarimu ene se sene enim no onyankopon hyehyɛ mu Sarai na onfafu Sarah kwa Abraham ho se me de mafuna emma waware geno na one no wu abofra na be media one no wu wie ye a in fact ohun se wanyi sempe na fe omuni madam ni biom obu na nimtia afe Sarah koya kwa Abraham what the complain command and say Abraham or how bia we aba me so no emra wankasa wo so adentina or how we aba me so say me de abawa ma wo na wawari na ewie na afi me na me behu na man Abraham say owo nsem ne episode ye ni bia fire no. We are seeing family conflict in the sense of marital strife and as a conflict in Abraham's marriage. Where the dance say Abraham went through the same challenges that some of us are facing. It is not different. For the mere fact that the father of faith, say Abraham, obi owo jidie, and non stress how I femuno or no femu be. This time, another woman has come on the scene, and then my friend, a baby mama, a concubine or bafo fraba. Abraham no beya kowo. Na yenko Bible no near her you may be or say. There was a phrase I added of verse 2. Me pese a so. Verse 2, or Bible no eka sembi. Or say, and Sarah said to Abraham, behold, now the Lord has promised, go into your servant. It may be that I shall obtain children by her. And Abraham listened to the voice of Sarai. Now Abraham etie Sarai ne. Sa phrase and answer simphobia. Ye dia sheho kakre bi no e kan sem bebre. Last week no bi bisa say ne Abraham ye na e kire se oni gidi ana. And e ka se na me yi no say me nyin ni say ye gidi ana oni tia. Na mo mi hu ni say at that moment he yielded to the pressure of his wife. Eti Abraham akotie ni yere Sarah. Ena nyame asema odi man no. For whatever reason, Abraham decided to listen to Sarah. Now Sarah so no mistake Abraham had to bear it. And we know the consequence that followed Abraham and his generation because of this mistake. Now, Yeshua verse 3. There is another expression there. Or say, after 10 years of dwelling in the land. Well, could it be said Abraham was now beginning to doubt God? So a bit more say Abraham, I feel na drink cry yasasa. And I say na join in Tanta. It could be. But it shows us after 10 years of dwelling in the land, 10 years of receiving a promise from God, say 10 years in fear duechino, she is Abraham I drink in Tanta. It may be. It we see that number one, Abraham heeded the voice of his wife. And number two, maybe after a decade of waiting, Abraham was now beginning to have doubts. And then last week, Obibisa said, does it mean he did not have faith? Which I don't think it was not because he did not have faith, but he heeded to the voice of his wife. It was therefore, in our marriages as Christians, there are challenges that can come. When spouses pressure us, especially when our spouses are not believers, and I said they are not well grounded in their faith like we are. And can say, Yahukafo no, omun tintim we jidi mu anampo omun ye jidi fo na ohaw biaba na ho kani no epiepia o se koye nea wonim se enye nyankopon asem etie nyame asem. What happens when odofo anasa wejire ukunu yare aka no na ya bompa ya fast ya de be bia so ye hu change bia na uhwe odofo ye nim na ohun na mane na wo ka cho se fanuko ba bia wunim se honye. At that particular moment, what do you do? At that particular moment, what do you do? Now, you consequence by it. In fact, it does be brave. I don't want to go too much into that. So we see that Abraham, because of this, it led to a conflict between him and Sarah, between Sarah and Hagar, between Ishmael and Isaac. Sa mistake Abraham ye inti. Yehu se emma wentu beda on Sarah and Tem. Afen so ebeda Hagar and Sarah and Tem. Ebeda Ishmael and Isaac in Tem. What kind of Genesis 14 when about say who Isaac no Ishmael and Penasamuda. And so there was a strife between Isaac and Ishmael. And if you know the history of the Jews, at Twaswa Besine, there is still that contention because of one mistake Abraham did, heeding the voice of Sarah. So we see Sarah ne na one fanadri NC the Unyakopon Ekachren. Yehu say empo when you Abraham, maybe he accepted the blame as Sarah did so. And we never saw anything like divorce anything like aggression between on Sarah. And one said, Oban the war on the obey in the aye. Naimpo Abra Sarah aye Hagar, Ayadia Hagar, Ekoyano. Oyen Adrian so beko Abraham ko nyame Nyankopon say look manum ko abofran mehira no na emmom boshe ne pa de me say Sarah nkasa ebenyi say ebusafo ya twi adwen susu say ya worry mu no there are challenges na nyon kwa na wo face it happened with our father, it happened to our father Abraham, and there are so many believers going through it. But how can we overcome this challenge? The challenge that comes to us can be overcome when we decide to heed the voice of God rather than the voice of pressure. Sometimes obana sebi o yare ne busia betima mo pressure. Bema no yare ne busia betima mo pressure. Yenya etia nyame asem. Obeye imprempren de ase wenya hoto. Abraham thought say, oh, mawi de no ano no. Nemo ensunsanso edi echi baye no. Na so chain or how I'm praying Abraham Ephesus. It was when the pressures of society push us in our marriages to take steps that we are not supposed to. I was surprised when I heard the story of Abrante Bia. Also in your accident no be hu nyame. And a radinam so friend 5 years later. Oko worry echi. On one him Dr. Kachan says Sebio ne be man ontimi wo. Ampanyampa ne count very low. Onim so onwo na ne ba no ho so no ba ne nyinsɛn ɛyɛ osof maame no ɔkɔyɛ paternity test ɛnyɛ ne ba ɔyɛ kom second born so aba third born so aba ɔkɔyɛ mmɔfra ne nyinaa paternity test onim pefee sɛ mmɔfra yi ɔmo nyɛ me mma ɛnso wayɛ kom because one kan kyerɛ ne yere ne sɛ ontimi nwo ɛna ɔba nso hu sɛ ɛma no ɔno nso atwa no ho se o ma wo mofra miensa no se ne ye ni yakra ne se ezan so yo sofo a ne ye ni osof mamenti osof mameni nam youth mu na otu youth no fo e kire ma no mu ni no krama mu kunu mu mbe mu ho ase and ohwe ne yire na ye ne bufu se say he's in a dilemma. Should I confront my wife or keep silent about it because me nim se mofra no mo nyame ma. This is a situation ojidi ni bi akofesi enti. These things happen to several people, and it happened to our father Abraham. And so whatever situation we are in, I just want to encourage you, say, if you heed the voice of humans, obey mistake, na mistake obey no. One shot ebedi wechi afebo. One shot how I did about no. A bit change one kasa obetimi. It was a form here another challenge Abraham faced in his life. Genesis 18:16 following. And that's what Genesis was. Chapter 18 from verse 16 echo or said, then the men set out from there and they looked down towards Sodom, and Abraham went with them to set them on their way. The Lord said, shall I hide from Abraham what I am about to do, seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him? For I have chosen him, that he may command his children and his household after him, to keep the way of the Lord by doing righteousness and justice, so that the Lord may bring to Abraham what he has promised him. Then the Lord said, because the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and their sin is very grave, I will go down to see whether they have done altogether according to the outcry that has come to me, and if not, I will know. Now, this is a familiar text about Nyankopon abofo omokwa say Sodom ne Gomorrah, and Nyankopon say I didn't necessarily medi hinta Abraham me na me pese ne trene ti me hira oni wiase nyina etimi fa hwe hinta no. So Nyankopon dan di kire Abraham say ne okoye ni mo me hwe ni Abraham ye. So the men turned from there and went towards Sodom, but Abraham still stood before the Lord. Then Abraham drew near and said, will you indeed sweep away the righteous with the wicked? Genesis chapter 18, 22 and 23. Now, Bible say abofo no twi wo ho a wo no Abraham jina Nyankopon anim. This is another challenge. Matudin said, friends or relatives in trouble and that's a danger. There are situations in our lives yehuni pebi ya dofo bi timi kwati bia bi mu a ebusiafo ya na edin, and especially se nipa ne ben wo pa, you are able to feel the pain of the person. Abraham nyame adom wenya baby agina baby a lot cut down here no amoa no Sodom ne Gomorrah. Bible say no mo yetrimodemfo a omo ya bonyefo pa eti omo ti bonimu and a lot eti wontem and abofo no ko akose Sodom ne Gomorrah. Mom yenhwe de Abraham in the midst of a crisis, you see a friend, you see a relative in serious danger. Obi abrabo is in danger, or how kese bia ba wadamfo bi so. Amanye kese bia ba ohuni pa bi webusu ni bi so. Enya wo na account directly. Onu no how mu, but ezan se wo ben nti ni how na be ye wo so wade so a. So Abraham was in a situation he saw danger, death looming. Owo ben lot. So Abraham obviously felt the pain. In a situation like that, what do we do when we have friends and relatives who are faced with danger? They are threatened by a particular danger in their life. Bible says, verse 22, so the men turned from there and went towards Sodom, but Abraham stood before the Lord. Now, that expression where Abraham stood before the Lord, you call 1 Kings chapter 17 verse 1. Me kind of quickly. 1 Kings 17:1, the life of Elijah. Elijah made the same statement. What is the meaning of standing before the Lord? Now, Elijah the Tishbite of Tishbe in Gilead said to Ahab, as the Lord, the God of Israel lives, before whom I stand, there shall be neither dew nor rain these days, except by my word. We see Elijah repeating the same expression, the Lord before whom I stand. Bible also say, but Abraham stood before the Lord. What is the meaning of this standing before the Lord? I think verse 23, or say, and Abraham drew near and said, or say Abraham chiben when Yankopon can say, what is the meaning of Sauchia ben Yankopon? Yanko Hebrews chapter 10, verse 22. We see something interesting there. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 22. Hebrews 10:22 or say, let us draw near with a true heart in full assurance of faith, with our hearts sprinkled with clean from evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water. I say, let us draw near. Standing before God and drawing near is an expression of prayer. And we see say abra lot akwa ho kese mu pa no. What did Abraham do? Bible say Abraham stood before God. Abraham drew near to God and he started bargaining and wrestling and interceding for Lord. It was therefore sometimes our people, the people who are closer to us, can go through certain hard situations via and there's a particular issue. Girl, mommy, very seriously, fasting and praying, and still it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. To the extent that she's not even able to pray, she's not even able to study, even though send addition the exams say bang. In a situation like this, your mother, when you have no father and you live with your mother alone, what do? Abraham faced this challenge. He saw death coming upon Lot. And what did Abraham do? Bible says he stood before God. And therefore, there are certain situations that say one more empire, what else can you do? And after you have prayed, what more can you do? And sometimes we are tempted to bear more burden than we can actually carry. I always say when Yankopon mo nwan say omonso aneswa, and so you Yankopon gwamadia, it is your duty to stand before God, to draw near and then offload every burden to God. Now so with the next one in Yankopon, you have no other business carrying it again. That is the only thing you can do. And to text in Bible say Abraham ni Nyankopon kan ya oni no ejina ya obompa ya ko see 5 nipa 5 a Nyankopon se menye nipa num a men say okay eno ojama Nyankopon eno kodai ade chi na Bible so begina ho pagya ni say ohwe Sodom and Gomorrah. We can learn from Abraham here, and what we can learn is when we are going through a situation where you almost feel the pain of your friend, of a relative, of your family member, or a child, a parent, or how be our name, what say how to say, I said one because when we saw how can see be part about so now I bet you won't want money. Apart from prayer, what else can we do? There is nothing more we can do. Standing before God means constantly being on our knees before God. Now that is what Abraham did. There no anything could be a lot. And in the busia. Sank Abraham Jahokodaya. Ebusiafo and Kalot in the busia for Asi Ebeshi. Now, moment as I said, God allows concerns and not worry in the life of a believer. Now, there is the temptation for us to turn legitimate concerns into illegitimate worries. The me patchan say, and maybe wahayana ayo how edayen so. Nyame ma ho kwan say concerns bi ohwa, yes. And maybe waha as I say a fire ho. Na mo on ma ho kwan say as I say ma ebeka yen dada adwendwen ho. Worry. So God permits legitimate concerns. But God does not permit worry, because worrying does nothing but to take life from you. We realize that in this coronavirus season, some people are overly worried and overly disturbed about it. To the extent that there are people even contemplating, say, sorry cry, I respect every decision that people decide to make for themselves. But when it is fueled by fear and illegitimate worry, because we slow, then there is a worry there. Then there is a concern there. Therefore, say it me supermarket. Near to me kwa bubulushi. Near to me echo chrome, acquire 1212. Then why can't we come to church in a season like this? We have to take the precautions, yes, but we cannot allow worry and fear to cripple our faith as well. And when people become excessively worried about coronavirus, parents are planning not to allow their kids to go to school and all that. If it is fueled by fear, then there is a problem there. God allows us to express concern about issues, yes, but God does not allow us to overly worry over those issues, because enye Christo sumpa na ne say ebre ye honhom ase. Eti our response to looming danger, threats facing us, like Abraham, we stand before God and we present our petition before God. Ye gina Onyankopon anim na ye de koto sre ene ade sre de aba Onyankopon anim na ye ne sa Onyankopon tie yen na oye emaye ebusiafo mpese ehwe baako yenhwe baako enso ewa ha ene say Genesis chapter 22 verse 1. Wait a minute, friend, the ultimate test. Genesis chapter 22 from verse 1 following. Genesis 22 verse 1. The ultimate test. Genesis chapter 22 verse 1 following. After these things, God tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham. And he said, Here I am. He said, Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains of which I shall tell you. Amen. Once again, we see God dealing with Abraham, which I will show you. And the ma test way anoya dimpa ne say Abraham efiri osuma eyabosun sumwa they were practicing human sacrifice. Yekum nipa de ne bo afore and now Israel nyankopon abefre no Yahweh Elohim afre no. He is a God who is righteous and just and pure. And God is demanding a human sacrifice from Abraham. Nanya he say abofra wo na wedi 100 years. Abofra oye ne bakro. The Bible says the next verse, or say, so Abraham rose early in the morning, saddled his donkey, and took 2 of his young men with him and his son Isaac. And he cut the wood for the burnt offering and arose and went to the place of which the Lord had told him. And then one said, Yankopon kan Abraham say, yes, sir. Me too, and I'm my friend, with the ultimate test. The woman say, every believer, if you are genuinely walking with God and you genuinely desire to walk with God, there is a point in your life that God will require the ultimate test. And he said, Yankupon, Edobe Koti Baby Mua, or best Sawasha, or Hewunukaridie. And it has happened to a lot of people in several different ways. It may happen in different times in each believer's life. There is a test here. It's like the ultimate test. I say, in social way there, a brun social be also. It is a huge sacrifice that God demands from that believer. For a bucket, Sabia and Yakopon added to a Jibini Swa or Shessel Bayo City no Abosa for an day. There are people who have to give up everything because God had called them into ministry. There are people who have to give up their personal ambitions and riches because God had called them into ministry. I call this the ultimate sacrifice. There are times in our lives and He demands a sacrifice of something we cherish so much. Give it up and follow me. So we just said Yenuma. Onyankopon faso e promote. It's an ultimate sacrifice that will be costly. And it is also a stepping stone for promotion. Hallelujah. Adebia segetimi bomodeni eni Nyankopon tusa na mona. Onyankopon faso epeja ejidifo. And I repeat, say, once you are walking with God in truth and in honesty, there will come a point in your life that God will demand an ultimate sacrifice from you. Aforibobia edin ya. Nyankopon nimpa se we de edin. Onimpa se we de ya. Now so Nyankopon be hwe nim se obebo sa afore no. And once the believer is able to make that ultimate sacrifice, the next thing is for God to bless him. Ye kan kwa yebe so Nyankopon epeja ne sakantam ewo Abraham no kware. So what kind of commentaries now kind other supporting materials are? Isaac, contrary to what we have been told, any popular opinion, Isaac no nyabofrasa. It is estimated, it is said that Isaac was around 21 years, 21 years. Bible and 3 years bia. But it is said that Isaac was around 21 years. So imagine Abraham living with Isaac for all these years, his only son, being so close to his son, and then God demands a sacrifice. And commentary Rebecca Chokra said there was a struggle between Abraham and Isaac. So we share my book of Bible stories, now share cartoons. Isaac akwada hodin say ne papa nkuno, no child will ever lie down quietly say ne papa nkuno. There was a struggle. And imagine Abraham struggling. Maybe he knocked his child's head over, Pejan unconsciously on the altar. If you read the text, from that day, Sarah to free Abraham in chain, a different place. One kotena one Abraham antena so kunu ni oyi bi otufu Abraham nchen. So could it be say Isaac koy no koka asem ne kire ne maame. And as Sarah bufu ye no tufu ho, it could be because Sarah never lived with Abraham as husband and wife together under one roof. Sarah relocated because Sarah wu ye no Abraham tu kwan eno ko sie Sarah. It could have been because of the ultimate sacrifice that God demanded from Abraham. Or ko Sarah maniye. In fact, Isaac wan kan kire no. In fact, servants kan ho wan kan kire mo. And adi we si wie what would they think? The man is a murderer. But only God knew what had happened between Ono and Abraham. Therefore, there is a point in your life where God is going to demand an ultimate sacrifice. For Abraham, it was his only child. For some of us, it may be that God will expect us to cut off certain things that we cherish so much. And it may be a sum yambupanya, maybe because it's an munjuchengu. Na for a sendia, ne dimechi. It is a costly thing, a dear, a sumbo. Now, Nyankopon Besha say, obey. And when you do it and you give up that thing, the Lord, through your sacrifice, gives you the opportunity to be elevated. No fast epejao. And there are so many people who have sacrificed very costly things. Adia kono cry and Kenya boni o. Nyankopon si jemu. Na we jemu nti Nyankopon faso epejano. And if you are genuinely walking with the Lord, at one point in time in your life, God will demand the ultimate sacrifice. It is painful, it is difficult, but if you do it, God is eventually going to bless you. For these are the things I'm a person here. Abraham, Abraham, that is Abraham, the challenges he faced while working with God. There was strife in Abraham's family. He had marital issues, and Abraham also saw danger looming against his own friends. And Abraham once again made the ultimate sacrifice. In fact, there is one more, the threat of death. Abraham and Sarah elkwa atamfuno. Abraham susu atamfu bekuno. Enti okodi atro says Sarah eyemenia. And there are so many people, because of coronavirus, they have resorted to lies. Lying to no denial. Say I cry anyhow. That's what people do because of the fear of the virus. The virus, they know, but as a way of defending themselves, they have to deny it. Virus being but in reality, Abraham had to deny his wife, had to lie about it. When people are faced with threats and deaths, what do? They deny, they lie, just like coronavirus season. Or see in reality, no, but or they annoy your shield, or they born by protecting himself from the fear of the virus. And Abraham faced all these things, the threat of death, going to Abimelech in chapter 20, and again chapter 12, verse 11. 2 times, and I have from any son, Pharaoh, any Abimelech. And in all these situations, what did Abraham do? He lied. A man of faith, he lied. It is their believers that when troubles come, when they are faced with danger, they are able to squeeze their way through by lies here or there. They call it white lies. Atrofita. I know they are bonnet, so that they can weave their way through. But in both situations, we see the trouble that came upon Abraham. Or how can say Eban. So, and when we resort to defense and denials, say it is only exposing us, say, it's true. But Jidie Papa the Betcher say, Adian woho. Nanso, Major was from a bomb hobine. No bay mefim. Tables are for no man numi and a pessi he. Na ye bobo ho near head yon yankopon, a betray, a womanty. Ye maho quine so do a question and contribution be a best say on fan to just in a bear. A bebo modisi bebua, nate me. We are looking at the challenges, the various challenges that Abraham faced in the various phases of his life. There are times when Abraham faced family strife. Abraham I feel so. You say Abraham. Now what we move on in a year confusion is see. You say Abraham. once again, or how be a do woo eba nebusiani so. Our Kojana Yaminima, O Diama Ninia. A face to woo Ebo Ben Abraham, a bro, or Hine Abimelech, and Pharaoh. Ayo my being said, Omobefa Sarah, say or Jre. So Abraham Sunti as so diatro, as I said, or past Sarah, he had to deny Sarah. Just like people lying to themselves and denying the existence of coronavirus, the Arabian who Yaren woho, a wohopa, a sunu so, and you know, they were born about defending when they say there is no Arabia, no Namusa. It is a lie, it is fear. But this is not a good way of living the life of faith. If we deny the trouble, it does not mean we do not have faith. It does not demonstrate our faith. Faith is I see the trouble, and yet I trust that God will help me through. That is faith. Now, the chatwa is the ultimate test, and I say the ultimate sacrifice. Every member who didn't be a brabo on Yankopon him say, Oba for Rabia, one him say, wait, dear, I said, bro, I'm more than so. Now, so Yankopon him say, obey. So Yankopon episode Faso, Eddie Pejao, a show in your yam. It was a for way and Yoman Bia, Passia She. Abraham Abrabo, and Amijidi said, everybody can relate to at least one of these challenges because they are practical things that happen to everybody who is a man or a woman of faith. So you jidini when Yankopon nanti we jidi mua. There nyamanumi ba kubu ohwa. Obehu se ene wa brabo no esisi e wa brabo mu. It is something that is happening real. It seems as if said the men and women of faith are rather those who face a lot of complications, challenges in life. It seems as if Omwa Jide were riding Omukran or how can see a bomb also. Na so because of how ni ho who were Gideanti or how be any ho. No, I don't trust with Gideon. Gideon said, me who how now so meaning saying Yankopon be boame. My famous though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. He never denied the existence of the valley of the shadow of death. If I just will be a question be an answer contribution be on Fantujana Yemwa and Sakaman. You can now pass or forward all your comments and contributions so that we proceed with answering them.
Hello, Papa.
Hello.
Asum Jane Council.
Evacuation Council, Mr. Jerry.
All right. That's fine, Michelle.
God bless you.
I think I have a couple of questions, but maybe something too.
Can you please speak a little louder?
Mr. Misaka.
Okay.
A couple of them, but maybe two.
Okay,
The
it
first
is.
one is that how would me as know what the ultimate sacrifice is concerning my family? And I will
How you as an individual know the ultimate sacrifice?
is the ultimate sacrifice.
Okay.
And the second part is this ultimate sacrifice, is it just going to come once in my life? And I said there are going to be multiple ultimate sacrifices. I mean, as I walk with the Lord. I think for now, these are the two that I want to.
Great. It was a form Mr. Jerry Assembly said, me yedini, me yedini, a for a bokkesi be power, Yankopon, Ashe, him say, Mimbo and as an Amonkesi be a me too. How would me as an individual believer know the ultimate sacrifice that God demands from me? Mr. Jerry, if God is demanding an ultimate sacrifice, the first thing everyone who said this is a sacrifice God is demanding from me is it is very costly, possibly unlike any sacrifice you have ever given in your life. Let me use an example of, I'm always referring to ministry, those being called into ministry. It is a very difficult thing for somebody to give up his life's ambition and for all these years, giving up all those things to follow God. You see, Nipa never go through over and over and over and over again, recognizing indeed that this is a hard thing. When God is demanding an ultimate sacrifice from you, after you will know by the weight of the sacrifice how costly it will be. It will cost you something. It will cost you something. And for Christ, the ultimate sacrifice for Jesus Christ was the cross. It cost him his very life. It cost him his soul. The ultimate sacrifice for Peter was giving up his fishing. And so for Isaiah, he had to give up everything. Amos, he was a shepherd. There is always a point where you know that it is a turning point in your life. It's almost as if you go into a crisis situation. As a way there, but you know that God is demanding this from you. Now the Bible say it will really cost you, and it may wound you, and the scar may be there forever. So that ultimate sacrifice comes from the fact that it is very costly and it will demand so much from you. But eventually, the second one is will it come once or multiple? I can guarantee you say at least once, but it may come several times in your life. There is a dying that you must keep dying. Paul said, I die daily. But God may be requiring several deaths. For Abraham, it may be chapter 12, leaving your family, and then giving up Isaac. It was portable, said there were huge, significant incidents. They are very costly decisions. We can say it happened more than once, and it may happen more than once, twice, 3 times, depending on God's plan, depending on God's agenda, and depending on how far God wants to take you or what his blueprint for your life is. For some, it may be maybe once. For other people, it may be sacrifice upon sacrifice upon sacrifice upon sacrifice, and it may be very costly with each one of them. Yet God will demand it from you. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
God bless you. Patrick, another question. I say, did God not recognize Ishmael as Abraham's son when he addressed Isaac as his only son? Did God not recognize Ishmael as Abraham's son when he addressed Isaac as his only son? I wish this question was a little clearer. Did God not recognize Ishmael as Abraham's son when he addressed Isaac as his only son? Ishmael had always been Abraham's son, and he was Abraham's son. As long as he came out of Abraham, he was of the seed of Abraham, he was Abraham's son. And God saying, your only son Isaac. Okay, so if I understand you, explain it to me. If you okay. And say, your only son, Abraham, Ishmael, and so. I see. Let me see if I can read that part. Genesis chapter 22. Genesis chapter 22. Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the OIC. So the question is, when Yankopon say, "Faubano, Wobakrono, Isaac, Wodono, Nafanu Komora, because Kobo Afore." Not just say, so Yankopon na Ohun Ishmael say Abraham Baswana. Ishmael has always been Abraham's son, and he was Abraham's son. But if God said your only son, I believe strongly that it was because he was referring to the son as in the promise. And to in Galatians, so because this promise was to the seed, not seeds. And he made it clear, said it was to the seed, singular, not seeds. It's not Paul was using the argument, said the seed was actually Isaac and inferably Christ. And God was recognizing the fact that Isaac is the only promised son of Abraham, even though Ishmael was also his son. So Isaac was born by the power of the Spirit, according to Paul in Galatians 1. And Ishmael was born the natural way, the way of a man and a woman. But for Isaac, it was supernatural because the Bible says his body was dead. And we can infer, say, Nyankopɔn is your only son. Genuinely speaking, you can't say, oh, about baby, but and you is Sarah, but the son of promise, the party or a. So God was right in saying your only son. So even those away in the banner, when it comes to the promise, no, the promise was not given to Ishmael. And so when it comes to the promise, Ishmael is cut off. It is only Isaac. But generally speaking, Ishmael is also Abraham's son, but he is not his son according to the promise. Great. Any other question? Anybody who was some patch over to me? Other question to you? You can send in your questions by text or by voice. You can call and submit your questions, or you can text.
Okay, Papa.
Okay, Mr. Jerry, I'm listening.
My last bit. Is it okay for us as Christians to fear, as in to be scared of something? Because as human beings, we have the tendency of being scared or having fear about a particular situation. But is it okay? And as much as possible, we must issue this fear or this natural tendency of every human being. Because I think, one submission, one of them now can say, we shouldn't be scared of the virus and what. Of course, but as humans, is it okay? Is it okay to fear, like let's look at that? Is it okay? And I say, I say, no, you shouldn't fear. No, not at all. I hope you get it.
As humans, Mr. Jerry, sometimes people want to front an appearance via they try to overlook reality. As humans, what's the bad news? You are a little shaken. And fear comes in when you begin to brood over it to the extent that you belittle God and think that situation cannot be changed or turned around by God. But humanly speaking, as somebody what is all Dofo Bipa has been engaged in some kind of accident, something will happen to your bowels. You will feel something. For some few minutes or maybe an hour plus, you may not really be yourself. It is a natural response to stimuli, and I say bad news, natural, and no, it's not fear. It's a natural response to trouble or bad news. But when after all this, still you are brooding over it and it cripples you so much that and maybe you complain, you whine, you act like you are totally hopeless, as if God cannot come in the situation and turn it around, and you think about it to the extent that it is eating you up. Then you are providing a breeding ground for fear. And when fear comes in, it stifles faith, and when there is no faith, it becomes very difficult for even God to move on your behalf. Bad news are natural, normal. It says, Sebio, Udofubi Wakana, Sembiesi, now Wakuma etu, now Yam Eshisho, no, and no interest, we need you. No. That does not mean you don't have faith. But you face the reality of the situation. This situation exists. My child has been involved in a situation like that. I have been involved in a situation like that. I have been sacked from my job. Makumetu, I am downhearted. I am brokenhearted. This is the situation. And yet, I know that God can turn it around. That yet I know that God can turn it around. That is an expression of faith. So you admit the situation, and that does not mean you don't have faith. But I know that God can. But say you say, my hopeless. I am on dance. They say maybe asking nothing can happen. Boy, that is when you are trying to say that you have no faith in you. Naturally you can respond to every situation in a way that will but it's okay. The first thing he says is fear not. Fear not, because he knows you are human, and seeing a spiritual being, it will frighten you, natural. But God has to dissipate your fear and tell you, say, oh no, Abanti. So I'll respond with Bibi with that kind of natural. By no you should not wallow in hopelessness as if nothing can be done about it. If you do that, then you are expressing lack of faith. Great. Next question. When Abraham left to offer Isaac as a burnt offering to God without discussing with his wife, we could say that he did so because Sarah will not agree. Does it mean we can carry on without the consent of our partners, knowing that what we are doing is of God? Okay. It's a little ain't. I see Onyankopon katre. But Johan is asking a question if we have the persons. Pastor say Felicia. Okay, so Sister Felicia is saying say Abraham Onyankopon katre Abraham say on fat Isaac enkoba for yen one more ceremony enti yen so yebetime to anamon bi a yen kantre yen partners ana ebusiafo. I must painfully admit that yes is the answer, even though it should not always be. Honestly speaking, when God has spoken to you and you know that God has spoken to you, and you know that it will create chaos and interruption, and family will be against it, and it will break that kind of relationship or link you have with God, sometimes it becomes necessary to obey God without conferring with flesh and blood. I thought that who be here say, it becomes necessary sometimes. It should not always be the case, but depending on the kind of sacrifice and depending on the kind of partner you have, knowing that they may not agree, sometimes it becomes necessary. Say, and maybe you may decide to move together with God rather than involving a third party who may destroy that act of faith. Sometimes it becomes necessary. Yeah. I hope you have been clearly answered, Sister Felicia. Any other question, anybody online or by text can present it. We are receiving questions and contribution. So, sorry? She has been answered. Okay, great. God bless you, Sister Felicia. We are still receiving your questions and response and contribution to today's study. Who question be ame pacho bomodina fatu dwane hwese betimi abobo huna eyi ano a. So God may demand an ultimate sacrifice. Sometimes it becomes necessary for the believer to stand before God in prayer, to draw near in prayer when other people are faced with danger. In the face of complication and trouble, some people resort to denial. Oh, this thing doesn't exist. This thing is not there, but the thing is there. Oh, she ain't see. But the truth is, BBC, that is not an act of faith. That is plain denial, and it does not mean that you have faith. It is rather a demonstration of carelessness and our unwillingness to accept the situation for what it is. There are strife that may happen between us and our families, and like Abraham, sometimes we have to just settle issues amicably. Sometimes we have to meekly be willing to give up our rights, because there are better rewards that God will offer. There are marital conflicts that may come as in the ways of believers. When we heed to the wrong voices, because we have waited for long, marital conflicts can be flared up, and they may lead to a whole lot of issues like Abraham's situation. And realize that Abraham's relative Lot was faced with impending danger. He stood before God, and in the threat of death, when Abraham feared that his life would be taken away, what did Abraham do? He lied and denied Sarah, which is some people's way of avoiding bad situations, their way of defending themselves. If you have any questions, contribution, please send them and we'll try and answer them. Sorry? George, okay. Brother George, you can ask a question.
Okay. I am Mrs. George.
Okay, Mrs. George, we are listening to you.
Now, who can be said fear? We are not permitted to fear, but we can raise an issue about impending situations.
Okay.
But sometimes you can also say the reverse also can also be bad.
Okay.
Say somebody who is overconfident and I say my friend say blindly or better say, oh, I have faith. Imagine Abia as a war zone somewhere because we jijami now we don't want to say, oh, because we jijami. So in making sure say you won't fear, you have to also be sure to say you are protecting yourself, because it goes together. Say, what are you doing to protect yourself?
Yeah.
Maybe point to say, yes, but what are you doing to protect yourself to ensure say?
Great. Yeah.
So the reverse also is
It's very true. Very true. Mrs. George is so submission. Thank you very much. So she's saying that people may, in the name of faith, refuse to see situations for what they are. And I think we mentioned this. Trying to deny the reality of the danger, no, it's not faith. So how neighbor because we were GDNT, she ain't seen and no GDA. GDN said, or how no ho, now so me were radimo reshimu said, obey me film, and also obey me home by empo a suma menemono. So if, for instance, coronavirus were now so we GDNT, you'll be careless. Now one anti-semi alpebiana. This is faith without any basis, and God does not condone. That is, you are testing God, and God eschews testing him, and that is not a demonstration of faith. Therefore, we have about 5 minutes to bring our study to an end. We'll take a question, one last question, if there is. And yes, I did this year ever back a year. It Mrs. George contribution so and their brain. So we GDA, Obasho Husuye. Obayan, yes, so we be if we say, Ujitum so Yankopon, why any obey my navy no, when Yankopon ever bought Ohobai. Any other contribution or question, please forward them to us. She's still on. Yeah, Mrs. George, but your question for final contribution, you can put it forth. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. George, go back to you.
Mrs. George.
We are listening to you.
Okay. You see, faith and like human beings, from where I see and my understanding, we are rational. And I put things with wisdom, like that is natural response. We are Sarah earlier. Now also video meeting.
Bajo, can you come again? The honor said that my.
Okay. Is it clear now?
Very clear.
They say faith and a human being. Nyankopon amaye wisdom to survive in the environment.
Yeah.
And when you refuse to apply wisdom in what you are doing, that doesn't substitute. It's not a substitute to faith. And when you say, what I'm going to do is danger, and then you tell yourself, me did this say, me to me it doesn't make sense. When you say where a war-prone zone, also media I don't think you are applying wisdom to this.
That's it.
So my understanding is that faith, and it's a I am going to embark on this venture, and I believe I'm going to be successful. Venture that is rational, venture that is good. Let me give you a clear example. I am going to write my exam. I have learned, I have studied. And therefore I go and I'll come out as a victor.
Exactly.
That is my understanding. But also media, it means that you have failed to apply wisdom. So that we can survive in an environment. And not wow to survive. And this is when we get wisdom and rationality behind the you throw them to the dogs, and then we so media GDM. That's what opinion saying. At the end of the day, you will be found wanting. That is my understanding.
Very true. So Mr. George also is buttressing that point. There was an incident of a software in Suato flooded streets several years ago, maybe over a decade. I'm a story. Or GDSL bit my fansunuma, now eventually he lost his life, his wife's life, and everybody passed. That's not faith, that is testing God. And Nyankopon does not support such blind faith. Faith without works is there. It was therefore, the addition of ABC. Nyankopon yaduma ebe twice next week. Nah, your best stress. Still, if there is any question, you can still forward it, and we will try and answer it. Maybe possibly on our WhatsApp page. God bless you so much for participating, and have a wonderful evening. Bye bye.